Hi guys. As you know, I often recommend books, and one of the books that I repeatedly recommend to you guys is called Heal Your Wounds, Find Your True Self. And today I wanted to share an example of a common occurrence that perhaps if I point it out to you, you will understand what's going on. So in this case, I'm going to talk about the rejection wound. And I will tell you how well it was hidden inside of me. I obviously had it. Clearly I had it. I actually do withdrawal, but I don't look like a withdrawer. In fact, I wear more of a controlling mask, and that is more my dominant trait. So this means that I'm not giving power to that wound. Okay, that's my way of coping with it. And so as a result, I gravitated towards other coping mechanisms. And so here's the thing that I discovered that's really important. What I discovered was that I was actually repelled by what appeared to be the opposite of me. So what do I mean by this? I mean the codependent person, the person that requires someone's presence to feel better, a very needy sort of thing that, for example, if you can identify with this, if you have a fight with someone and you your whole day is off because you're dependent on their presence for your peace of mind, this sort of codependency, this sort of mass, this need, okay, I would run from this. The reason I would be repelled by this is because it was something I didn't want to face in myself. I'd run, and what would happen is I would attract people that have this more dominant, and so I would end up with stalkers, clingy people, needy people. Anytime you displayed any type of need, I gotta run, I gotta go away. So I'm describing this because I wonder how many of you have ever been in that situation where the more you tried to get with someone, the more they ran from you, and you didn't understand the dynamic. Well, here's the thing, you're actually dealing with yourself, you're dealing with the neglected aspects of yourself. This is why you're repelled by it, or why someone else appears to be repelled by it. Because again, it's a mirror into yourself. Okay? So that being said, what would end up happening is now I would always end up attracting these types. Why is that? Well, they were attracted to my sense of self-sufficiency. The fact that I didn't need them to be happy. They wanted that more than anything. So that was their attraction factor. It's not dependent on looks at all. You have to understand you are looking for yourself. When you understand that other people are mirrors into you, so you can see your own eyes, so you can see into your soul, so you can see the things you don't know about yourself, life changes. Life changes. And suddenly you understand why everyone gravitates towards you, or vice versa, why you are gravitating towards someone else. Doesn't matter. These are universal wounds. All right? So these type of people would gravitate towards me, and I would do what I would do on instinct to self-protect. My ego would reject this immediately. It must. It feels icky. So typically, when you're a chaser and you're on the receiving end of someone else, they'll say, look, you're clingy, you're too needy, I don't need you. If you ever hear that, if you're on the receiving end of that, that is because this person is feeling repelled by this. Do you understand? By this need. This is not a good feeling. It's not healthy. Okay? This is not love. You are always seeking to balance yourself. I want you to understand what's behind an obsession, what's behind an attraction. Because it's not a mystery. It's not rocket science. It's very basic. Everyone is predictable. I know it sounds like we're not, but we are. It's universal experience. All right. So automatically now this person will reject you. And what happens to the person on the receiving end of that rejection is now you are triggered, you are wounded, you are thrown off your game. Anything that you can do in order to wake up to the fact that you have a rejection wound alive inside of you that needs your attention. Now you can do one of two things. You can get angry at your circumstances. You can feel helpless in this anger. You can do, well, not one of two things. I guess you could do a lot of unproductive things, okay? In terms of not understanding what is happening to you and why, or you can choose to learn from this. You can realize that this rejection is not personal. It is not something that we chose to do. We do not choose to hurt you. We run on autopilot. And you have to wake up to what is running on autopilot so you can understand what's behind your human nature. What is causing all of the illusions of these people to behave the way that they are? Because you are the source of it. And until you understand you're the source of it, you cannot have dominion over it. That's why it's important to understand how it works. All right. So now you are in the dynamic of the rejection. And you can understand that you awoken the fact that you're being rejected. This is important. We can wallow here if we want. We can allow ourselves to feel these experiences, but sooner or later, we have to decide when enough is enough and when we're going to stop getting mad at the outer illusion for what we've done to ourselves. Because all of this, again, is running on autopilot for your benefit. This is how you discover your true self. Yeah, I'm putting this book to use, you guys. I hope you can benefit from how I'm telling you why I told you to read this book 20 million times over until you can see the components of the entire universe running on autopilot, because it is. Not one human being on this earth is a mystery. All right? This is why it hurts. When you are rejected, it hurts so bad. Why? Because this rejection wound was probably formed in your childhood, and your childhood memories and every other memory that reminded you of this rejection wound becomes alive inside of you because it's never stopped happening. You just stop looking at it. And this is what you register as pain. It's all imaginary. You're not even there physically, but your brain doesn't know that. And if you're going to do some real healing, if you want to lose weight, if you want that guy, you want that girl, understand what's behind everyone's behavior so that we stop playing the blame game. So we stop running on autopilot and we become conscious and we have compassion for the dynamics that are happening in front of you for you to discover who you are. All right. So that's why this happened. That's why you're attracted. This is what's behind your obsession. Now, you are seeking to balance yourself. You are seeking to heal from this. So there are a few things that you're going to have to do to heal and to align with someone that has used this experience to serve them. First and foremost, I'm going to need you to do what you're most afraid of. Lean into the rejection. Lean into the alone time. Don't worry about what you're losing. You're not losing anything but the old state you don't want. That sounds scary to someone who is really attached. That sounds scary, but I'm going to need you to do it anyway, because your actions must align with your desire to heal in order for you to step into the healed reality. So I'm going to need you to lean into that. And I'm going to need you to develop some self-sufficiency, to understand that you are seeking to balance yourself first, and that this experience has served you so that you can balance yourself and then enter a healthy union with whoever, including the person that rejected you. Because once you're not needy, this autopilot won't run. Do you see? You're working only on yourself and no one else. I hope this is helpful. I hope this is helpful, because I point you towards these books, and then I want to get your perspectives, but I at least want to share with you guys how I take these things and understand, because for me, this knowledge is priceless. This knowledge explains what everyone is doing and why. And this is just one wound and one coping mechanism. And there's only 5. All right. Okay, so you have that understanding. I want you to lean into that. Now, here is the simple paradox. I want you to acknowledge your humanity and understand that you are designed for human connection. Having a need for someone isn't bad. It's inherently programmed in. Don't fight this. See how I'm saying lean into everything? Lean into this acceptance as well. I say this because it is not a weakness to allow yourself to be vulnerable in order to allow love in. It is not a weakness. There's a certain level of fear that we must let go of in order to have a full, enriched relationship that is not determined by the wounds that we are projecting out there. Okay? Now, with that understanding, with everything that you've taken into account, with the acceptance, you can now start changing your behavior and realize that it is not a bad thing, like we're told that it is. However, there are extremes, and you're seeking to balance. The extreme of being needy is not healthy. The codependent vibe is not healthy. Accepting that we're inherently have needs programmed in is. Okay, so I understand the paradox here, and understand why this is so confusing. But what I mean is, as human beings, we cannot look into our own eyes. So we are programmed to use each other for connection in order to see into ourselves. Your job in love is to recognize yourself, not see divisions, and act from a healed place as the source of what you are seeing, and projecting that instead so that 2 people can enjoy the experience of your love in overflow. It's a very beautiful thing. Okay? But you have to have this balance. You can't be this other extreme. This is not healthy. Okay? The other extreme of this, which again is not healthy, the opposite of this is what I used to do. This is why I can say it. Is extreme self-sufficiency. You keep telling yourself you don't need anybody, you're invulnerable, you fuck everybody, you can do it by yourself. You know that type? That's me. It tended to be me until I healed. I have to seek balance, right? So the extreme opposite isn't healthy either. You see how these are designed for you to balance yourself? All right, so understand that you're seeking an acceptance of the need, but not either extremity. All right? That's important. And then stop being afraid. Stop being afraid. Stop living your life as if you're protecting yourself from your fears. Many of you, the reason that you protect yourself so much, or why you sabotage, or why you seek people that don't want you, is because you're too afraid to experience your childhood pain, that first love that really drove a dagger into your heart. You're afraid to feel that again. Well, here's the thing. You need to make peace with your emotions, because your emotions are not an accurate reflection of reality. They're an accurate reflection of your perception, not always of reality. And you must seek to balance this until you can be objective, till you can see and apply something I call radical forgiveness. That's what Course in Miracle calls radical forgiveness. A book was recently written called Radical Forgiveness. And here's the most important part about radical forgiveness. It's not seeking to invalidate your feelings. It's not seeking to invalidate the experience and the wisdom that you've gained from the pain. It's not seeking to bypass and say bygones be bygones. What it is doing is providing you an opportunity to grow, to use your mind in a different way, to radically reprogram your perception until you can see that nothing wrong has occurred here. Nothing wrong has occurred here because the pain is here to serve you. If you don't wake up to what is unconsciously playing in the background, it will continue to repeat painfully over and over again. The pattern will be there. The faces may change. And throughout time, you'll keep wondering why life is this series of up and downs and up and downs. Life is not a series of up and downs. Once you make peace with yourself, when you make peace with yourself, it doesn't matter what happens. You're good. You understand why things occur. People suffer the most because they ask why of causation. Problem with asking why of causation is that you are the cause. You are the cause. Okay? And the fact that you don't know this is causing a layer of fear to distort what is happening in your experience. This is your resistance. This is the reason things aren't instant. This is the human experience. We are naturally programmed to fear the unknown. And yet to truly live, to be present, is to live in that unknown. And until we ditch the fear of what could happen, and instead just start living it without judgment, you're not actually living. Okay, all right. So apply radical forgiveness and understand that what happened occurred, even if it hurt you, occurred for your benefit, occurred for you to wake up to this so that it doesn't continue to repeat in your life, that this is a great act of service. No matter how bad it hurt you, it is an act of service to awaken you to your true identity beyond the things that you are afraid of. Your real life begins when you're on the other side of that fear. So this is how you would apply this knowledge of, if you're being rejected, why you're attracted to the person that keeps rejecting you and how it's serving you. I hope this helps. It's a brief sort of introduction to the 5 wounds and how I've used it to heal myself and how I've used it to understand the dynamics of all the people that have ever come into my life so that I can serve you. Because I guarantee you, the whole population on this planet deals with these. These are universal things. And we all experience them in varying degrees, and we all learn to cope with them differently. So we think, except we're following a pattern, and when you understand the pattern, you understand more about yourself. And you'll have more compassion for others. here's the bonus on that. You'll receive more compassion and you'll receive more love because you are only ever getting what you put out. You're always on the receiving end of that. All right, you guys, I'm off to make dinner, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I hope this lecture sort of helped. I am going to start this series really soon. I give all the credit to Lise Bourbeau. Please read her book if you haven't. And I hope this is answering the question, because most of you read the book in one fell swoop, totally understood most of it, but then didn't know what to do with the information. So here's what I did with it. All right, guys, love you. Bye.